Hello and welcome to the Douglas On My Mind show. I'm Blondell Thomas, the City of Douglas Media Relations and Event Coordinator, filling in today for Georgia Henderson. We have a great show talking about holidays and holiday safety coming up for you. We have the City of Douglas Police Department Deputy Chief Brandon Pruitt, the City of Douglas Fire Department Chief Tim White, and also Hattie Merritt, who is our Main Street Coordinator, and we'll all be talking about the great things coming up during the holidays for the City of Douglas. We're back from break, and sitting here with me today, we've got Deputy Police Chief Brandon Pruitt with the Douglas Police Department. Hi, Brandon. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Blondell. How are you?
Good. I thank you for coming on to share some safety tips with us, especially with this holiday season as it's coming up. What are some shopping safety tips that you can offer our viewers?
Well, there's numerous. The big one is try to never shop alone. Mm-hmm. Have somebody with you when you go shopping. A second item to remember is to try to do your shopping during daylight hours, because there's a greater likelihood of being ambushed when it's dark. And people have to remember it gets dark early now because of daylight savings. So usually about 6 o'clock, 6:30, yes ma'am. So those are the two main things. Shop with a friend or relative, and do your shopping during daylight hours.
Okay. And what about like whenever you're going back to your vehicle, if you have a lot of gifts or anything, is there anything that you need to do to maybe cover them up or place them somewhere different that you normally wouldn't place
them? Yes, ma'am. You can cover them up if you put them in your back seat, but the best thing to do is to put them in your trunk.
Oh, okay.
And also, when you do put them in your trunk, if you're going to a larger city or if you're going to a shopping mall where there's numerous stores, don't go to your trunk, put the items in there, shut the trunk, and then go to another store, because people can see that.
Oh.
Go to your trunk, put your items in, and leave.
Okay.
And then go to another store somewhere else. And when you get there, those people who might be on the lookout to try to do something, criminal-wise, they won't know that you already have items in your trunk.
Now, when you're shopping in a place like a mall or something like that, is it really good to maybe, if you think you may be in there a little bit longer after dark, to park near a light or near the entrance? Or
yes, ma'am. If you can find a parking spot up front in the lighted area, because during this time of year, everybody's out shopping, so it's probably going to be difficult to do that. But if you can, yes, that would be a great tip. But also, if you are after dark and you don't have anybody, be mindful. People are in the spirit. They're enjoying the shopping time, and they forget about, there's nefarious elements out there that might be trying to make you a victim of some type of crime. But try to be cognizant of that. So when you leave, look in the perimeter, see who's around. Go straight to your car, put your items in there, but don't get so tunnel vision you're just putting your items in there. Continue to be on the lookout. Have your keys, if you can, already in your hand, so when you get there to your vehicle, most vehicles now have a fob, so you can open up your trunk with the fob, and you can unlock your doors with the fob. Right. So go ahead and do that, and plus you have them out so you can get in there quicker.
Okay.
At the same time, some women nowadays, they have pepper spray or something on their key fob. So if you have that out, you already have it accessible if you need to use it. And plus, you're alert by keeping up with your surroundings, who might be approaching, so that way if you need to take a defensive posture, you have time to do that.
Okay. Now, speaking of shopping and all, sometimes you may run a little short on cash. If somebody were to use an ATM, is there some safety tips you can give, as far as if somebody is right behind you or right behind you in line?
It's recommended, if at all possible, not to go with cash.
Okay.
To use your credit card or use your debit card. But if you use your debit card, use the credit portion, because when you put it in, you can put debit or credit on a debit card. Use the credit because if something does happen, if somebody does get your number, you can refute that charge and you can get a credit back from your credit card company.
Okay.
So
yeah, because you're not putting in your PIN number. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And you have to sign. Also, on your credit card, you're supposed to sign the back of your credit card, and you can tell the cashier. All cashiers should check your driver's license and make sure the names match up.
Right.
But they don't do that all the time nowadays.
They don't
but
do
you
that
can
a lot of
ask
times.
them, are you going to check my driver's license? And then hopefully, that might put a memory in them, oh yeah, I need to check, and then they can check to make sure the names match up as well.
Right. Because like you're saying, even though it is a real joyous time, sometimes there are those people out there that are looking to take advantage of you. So
Correct.
those are some really great
Yes,
tips.
ma'am. And you get into the spirit. And you get tunnel vision. You're happy. You're buying gifts for relatives and friends. And you get excited and you get joyful in your heart, and you just forget about the safety things that you need to remember, because unfortunately there are those people out there that will try to take advantage of you.
Right. Now, I've heard some people say, again, on the safety end, not to take your kids if you can, because kids can sometimes be distracting. Would you recommend that, or just leave it up to the person shopping?
I will leave it up to the person, because each parent knows the maturity level of their kids.
Right.
I don't know the maturity level of somebody else's kids. The parents do. So if the kids are in a mature state, then by all means, I don't see no issue with taking them shopping. But you just have to be aware of, there might be people out there, so you need to keep an eye on your kids at all times.
Right.
Because it doesn't take but a split second for something to go wrong.
Right, and like you were saying, a lot of times kids, whenever you go into those toy stores or anything like that, they're liable to wander off, and a parent
Yes,
not
ma'am.
even realize it,
Yes,
so,
ma'am. And the kids don't know no better. They're excited. They have all
Right.
these toys there. They want to see everything and touch everything.
course.
That's just being a kid.
Exactly. Now, also with us talking about shopping and being out of town, if you find that you're going to be out of town for any amount of time, are there some tips that you can offer homeowners, like leave a light on or anything like that?
Yes, ma'am. You can leave a light on. But what you can do also, you can call the police department and request an extra patrol while you're out of town, and officers will go by and they'll put it on their daily sheet that they did an extra patrol with residents. They can't go inside.
Right.
You need to make sure your doors are locked, but they can make sure no doors are busted in, no windows are busted. But if you do call and request an extra patrol, leave us a contact person and a phone number of somebody local, relative or something, so that way if we do find something, when we do make that extra patrol check and we find something, we have somebody to call, because the homeowner's going to be out of town.
Right.
So it might take them hours to get back, but at least we have somebody we can contact and get a hold of, so we can move forward what we need to do as far as the report.
Okay, now, and also like you were saying, you can contact the police department and do that, and then do you think it's a good idea to a trustworthy neighbor, maybe to just kind of check around and make sure that everything's okay with your home?
Yes, ma'am.
And they can report it.
Yes, ma'am. That can be done as well. Doesn't have to be a neighbor, a relative, or friends.
True.
That might live, a couple blocks. Or Douglas isn't that big.
Right,
Neither is
right.
Coffee County, so you can still have somebody in the county that you can come check on your property as well if you don't want to utilize the police department to do extra patrol.
Yeah, I know my mother, sometimes whenever she's out of town, that's what she'll do. Or I've actually called the police department before when she was out of town and asked, to have those checks come by.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I live in the county, and then, it's hard sometimes, even though we are local. So those are some really good tips. Like when you get home, what do you need to do as far as whenever you're in your home and you're decorating, putting up your tree? And also, Brandon, maybe share with us some tips that you can offer when you get home after you've been shopping. What do you need to do to kind of, make sure everything's okay at your house?
Yes, ma'am. Well, let's start when you arrive home from shopping. Well, from when you're going from where you shopped at to your residence, be mindful of who's behind you. Be observant to see if anybody is following you home. Because you never know. Don't take a beeline straight from the shopping location to your residence. Make extra turns so that way you can see if vehicles are following you or not.
Oh, that's
And then when you get home, if you have a security light where it's activated by motion, that will be wonderful, because in the areas lit up when you drive into your carport or into your garage, the light will come on, which will help give you more visibility. But before you get out of the car, while you're driving up on your drive, be mindful of your surroundings. Look in the front yard, on the side, everywhere you can look throughout your windows to see if anybody's close by.
Okay.
And when you do get out of the vehicle, go ahead and unlock your residence first. Then go get your items out of the trunk so you can get them and go straight into the house.
And make sure a light's on whenever you're doing that.
Yes, make sure the light's on. The second component is in the residence. A lot of people like to put their Christmas trees right in their bay window in their living room, which faces the front of the property.
Right.
When the Christmas tree lights are on, that's a beacon to potential criminals who want to burglarize a residence. Okay, they're home. When the Christmas tree lights are off, they know nobody's home.
Okay.
So try to put your Christmas tree in a different area besides just at the front window. So that way they don't know if you're home or not.
Right. And two, I know, and I'm guilty of it, you know, you like to show off your Christmas tree lights and things like that, but like you're saying, on the reverse side, you do need to be careful. Also, after you open gifts and things of that nature, what do you think you should do to keep thieves from potentially coming in after Christmas and breaking in and stealing some new items that you just got?
Yes, ma'am. The criminal element, they're going to be looking at the trash.
Okay.
They're going to see those big boxes of TVs, DVD players, and they're going to say, well, that's going to be a good place to hit.
Yeah.
So try not to put those items in your trash cans out front.
Okay.
Try to take them to a drop-off site where you can dispose of those items so nobody knows what items you did actually get for Christmas.
Okay.
And if you can't take them to a drop-off spot, at least try to do something where you can change the markings. Get a black marker so you might be able to scribble through the item, because a lot of items nowadays they have pictures on the cardboard boxes of what you purchased. But the best thing is try not to put them out front where people can see what you did receive as Christmas presents. So then everybody in the world who goes by knows what you have, and the criminal element will see that and they want to break in and try to, burglarize your house and take those items from you.
Okay, well, those are some really great tips, Brandon, and just really quick before we get ready to wrap up with you. Also, as you've said, and I've said too, it is a celebration time. We, of course, want to encourage everyone to be safe. Don't be on the roads drinking and driving. And also, whenever it comes down to fireworks safety, there are only certain times and dates that you can shoot fireworks off. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. The way the law is written, it says no fireworks are allowed between the hours of 10 a.m. and midnight on any day.
Okay.
The only exceptions are July 3rd, July 4th, from midnight to 2 in the morning, and December 31st and January the 1st from midnight to 2 in the morning.
Okay.
So from midnight to 2 in the morning on Christmas or on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, then you can utilize fireworks, but you can't use them before that.
Right. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Yes, ma'am. Not Christmas Day.
Right.
It only says July 3rd, July 4th, and December 31st and January 1st.
And of course, if anybody has any questions, they can call the crime tip line, or should they call the police department directly?
Yeah, not the crime tip line if they have a question in regards to use of.
Okay.
But they can call the police department at 912-384-2222.
Okay.
And they can talk to an investigator, myself, or somebody at the department that can explain to them what the laws are. And also remember, you have to be 18 and over to be able to
18.
purchase fireworks. And these vendors who sell the fireworks are supposed to check an ID to make sure that the person they're selling to is the actual same person on that identification card, the driver's license, and that their date of birth shows that they're at least 18 years of older.
Okay. And I just want to, reiterate, the biggest thing during the holidays, if you see something, you need to say something like we've said before. So share with everybody what the crime tip line in case they do see suspicious activity.
Yes, ma'am. If anybody sees anybody that might be suspicious, that they might think are just hanging around and observing and trying to identify somebody that can be a good target for them, definitely call 911.
Right.
The crime tips line won't be good in that component because they need to call 911 so an officer can get there and check that person out.
Right.
But if they see some type of crime and if they want to be anonymous, then they can call our tips line at 912-260-3600.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here today, and those are some awesome tips that you've offered everybody, and we just want everybody to make sure